your number one priority is the sponsor team, because the sponsor is like a jockey, right? If it is a good sponsor, they can take a really good deal and then make it like, really, really good. But the bad sponsor can take a good deal and can take it down the drain. So no matter what checklist you have or what due diligence you're performing, you really start from the sponsor's team.
Hi, folks. Welcome again to Next Gen WellCast. I am super duper excited today because I have a very good friend of mine, Madhavi Jain, with me on the podcast. Madhavi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Akash. I'm so excited to be on your show. I think we have known each other for quite a while now. And just to be having the opportunity to be here and talk about some things that we both believe in. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And hey, you're a fellow Texan now here with me. Hey, I'm in Dallas, you're in Austin.
Yep.
So, we're still remote, but hey, at least proximity.
Yeah, absolutely. We can hear each other a little better or closer.
Very cool, very cool. No, Madhvi, thank you so much for joining. Let's start us off. Tell our viewers about your story. Who is Madhvi? How do you get to where you are today?
Great question, Akash. Get started with. And I quite often say that we all have, listen to it carefully, uncommonly common story. And the reason I'm saying that bits and pieces of my story, your story, we kind of, mingle that together and we can resonate with each other. So my uncommonly common story that, came to this country just like you with a couple of suitcases in hand and probably a few hundred converted dollars with my husband. And we built in a life here, right? We built an American dream here. So that's, my uncommonly common story, like everybody, most of our listeners are, right? So when you focus on that next gen and first gen kind of, there's an overlap around it. So that's what it's about, that we came to this country. We had absolutely no idea that, how wealth management is done, how investments are done, how we can grow. We just knew one thing. We knew that, okay, we are diligently going to work. We're going to build a family. We're going to, probably build a home and create an American dream for ourselves. So that's what happened. 2002 is when I came in with my husband, and we built an American dream, had a home, kids. First daughter, my daughter was born here. And then, quite coincidentally, the 2008 impact, everybody has a different story around it. But 2008 for us is that, by the way, me and my husband both worked in the top five consulting companies, and at that time we were on H1. Even at having the house purchased, we were on H1, and both of us get called in the office one Monday morning. We worked on the same project, by the way, for 13 years, and we get called in the project office and say that, hey, next Friday is going to be your last day. And that was like a punch in the gut. I don't know if you know about this, but at the same time, so we
Oh,
had
wow.
this white elephant of a house in California, by the way. I was in California before coming to Texas. And I was about to give birth to our second child. So that was a super punch in the gut, right? So long story short, we what we built till then, what an American dream with the car and the house and kid. We kind of had to, collapse the deck of cards all over again and rebuild it, right? So that's what happened in 2008. We moved from California to Texas here. We looked at things positively, rebuilding ourselves. We, kind of had that now two kids growing. Again, things were fine. I worked with Deloitte Consulting for a really long time. But then, health kind of, gives an impact. It's kind of a warning bell for you that, hey, what is your priority? And that's what happened with me. In 2015, I came to a position where health conditions, I would get up, get ready, and collapse on the bed because I just couldn't go physically to work. When life gives you lemon, why just stop at lemonade? Make a margarita out of it. So what you're seeing today is my margarita out of that condition, and I still have that chronic health condition. But I built something completely different. And what I came to realization that when I left my top consulting job, the six-figure earning job, is that my God, there is a parallel path here. Which the tech people, the medical people, or even the first generation immigrants, they don't know about it, that silently this country has been building wealth, generational wealth actually, with the syndications, the real estate, and I practice infinite banking too. So those kind of the strategies, and I was spellbound. First of all, I was very excited that, oh my God, I found something like a holy grail, right? Now I have to implement it from my family's life. And then it made me restless. It made me restless that if I stand in middle of my community here, whether it's my community where I live, whether it's the community where I come from, the tech world, they just didn't know about it. And that's the passion actually helped me start think outside the stocks. It's just not just an outside the stocks alternate investments, but it's outside the box strategies too. It's something that needs your mindset change powerfully. And that's when I started think outside the stocks. And I think you have known me more for connected capital, but as a think outside the stocks, I became a real estate fund manager. It was quite a bit swimming against the current, by the way, just doing that. And what I realized that, as a fund manager, as a capital allocator, it's kind of a lonely journey. Again, that became a pain point, and I didn't want it to do this alone. I am a people's person. I would love to do it as a community, rather as a family. And that's when I started the Connected Capital, which is where you have known me for a long time now, where we just have the community of people who come together and kind of doing these deals together. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But that's, in short, my uncommonly common story.
Very, very cool. And your uncommonly common story matches a lot with my uncommonly common story
Exactly.
as well, right? Hey, coming to this country with a couple of suitcases and a few $100s, and then working in, I was a big four, I'm an ex big four as
Yeah.
well, and working in tech and working in consulting. A very, very uncommonly common story with a lot of us immigrants. So, no, thank you. Thank you for reminding us about that.
Absolutely.
Thanks a
And
lot.
Akash, just think about it. What you have created here. I mean, kudos to you. Somebody has to say this. It's, incredible amount of effort. We saved every dollar, and we, quite honestly, when we came to this country and stepped foot in here, we did not know that we are going to achieve something so big, right? If somebody would have given a future kind of a look and say that, hey, Akash, you're going to do this, you would have said, are you kidding me? But look at you. I mean, just so immensely inspired by what you have achieved, and not just what you have achieved, but how you are helping and you're passionate to help others also to achieve the same.
I appreciate that, Madhvi. That's a very common theme among ourselves as
Yeah.
well, right? Hey, let me ask you another question about that, right? Hey, you think outside the stocks. That's very attuned with some of my philosophy of being diversified. Hey, I do have a
Hmm.
bunch of money in the stock market, but also outside the stock market, I invest in a lot of different asset classes. I invest in oil and gas. I invest in real estate, all different kinds of real
Absolutely.
estate. I invest in startups. Tell us a little bit about think outside the stocks and some of the asset classes that you are seeing and you are investing in.
Love that, love that. So think again, stepping back, think outside the stocks. It's just not the outside the stocks, right? It's an out of the box strategy. And in fact, why do we even need a box? Just think outside. That's what it is. And what happens is that you and me, we have learned our ways of managing finances the way we are taught in our country, right? And we save diligently, we invest in what the peers or people around us are investing in, and we think that okay, that's the right way to do it. So I did it for many years, being part of consulting firm. The salary will come, we want to save taxes, so max fund your 401k, and 401k is not allowing you to invest other than the stock market, which by the way I never understand. If it's your money, why just focus on investing into stock market? But anyway, outside of the stock market as well, the risk taking ability, it differs from people to people, right? So I did start my journey there, and as I was becoming a passive investor and I started becoming active in here too, I started realizing, by the way, just like you, I focused on apartment syndication to start with, and now you're diversifying in many, many asset classes, same journey, uncommonly common journey as well. But here's my philosophy, right? That when you are diversifying, and I'm not talking about the stock market diversification where it's just REIT that you're investing in real estate in as a part of the REIT. I'm talking about the actual tangible assets that you can touch and feel, right? So I started doing the rental real estate thinking that, okay, that's something different. But there is only so much you can scale. That what scale means is that only so much you can use your efforts, expertise to go bigger and create more passive income for you, right? So it's the diversification. The key behind it is actually using somebody else's expertise and utilizing that to create a diversified portfolio for yourself. Now, let me clarify that, right? I come from the apartment syndication apartment background. I have done acquisition, I have done asset management. I'm great at underwriting at multifamily, but that's just one asset class. The other asset classes like self storage, mobile home park, industrial, and even medical triple net, right? If these are different asset classes, there's different level of expertise that's needed in all different things. if you know one asset class and you're going to put all money in there, where is your diversification? For the true diversification, you need to be dependent on different expertise from different people who are great at doing what they do. And that's why I align myself in my fund. When I bring the investments to my investors, it's just not about apartments, but really bringing that different asset class, but with the experts, so best in class sponsors, because that's where the success kind of starts. So does that help?
No, absolutely does help. And I think that brings me to another question, which is kind of related. I know last couple of years ago, you and Bobby Sharma, you guys came together to create the Connected Capital Fund, I believe. And hey, talk to us a
Right.
little bit about the philosophy there. And I believe some of what you just talked about kind of plays in there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, Akash. So, Akash, you have done your acquisitions, you do asset management, and you know that it's a team game. It's not a solo game, right? You have, your team. Somebody's doing underwriting, somebody's doing property management. It's a humongous task, but you have a team, and the good part about the team is that you have somebody to talk to, right? When I used to work at Deloitte, we would have, the water cooler conversation, the coffee conversation, the lunch conversation. So there is a feeling of doing things together, right? As I was going into the capital raising, by the way, I had that four, and I decided that, instead of going into acquisition and asset management, I will stay in my lane. And again, reflecting back to my health, because I couldn't do the, physical exertion kind of a things. So I focused on like that, okay, let's do the capital raise. And it kind of worked well for me as well, because I'm an educator at heart. I love educating. And that's why I have podcasts just like you and webinars and stuff like that. So when I was educating, and I created this path that, okay, I'm going to create a fund which is going to be participating in other syndications, diversified asset classes, and this best in class partners. That is what I started doing as a solo, right? Now that journey is a very lonely journey, because now you're not part of the syndication team. You're connected to investors, but it's kind of a still distance. And I was looking at the core of it is the due diligence, right? Over the period of years, I have created about 230-point checklist, and I saw that these deals are coming left and right, and it's not sticky. I don't know what deals to do due diligence on and how much time to spend on it, right? So it became a kind of a lonely journey as well as pain point, right? How much can I clone myself to do this due diligence? So that is the pain point. When you have a pain point, that's what you're here to solve. So I was thinking that, hey, this must be a problem with many other people. And that's why, the connected capital idea, when me and Bobby discussed, this is what the idea was, that instead of all individually, separately, leaving these pain points and facing the wall, let's come together and do that together. So connected capital, our kind of the theme behind it, the idea behind it is that source best in class deals, because if you are connected to 10 people, 10 really good teams, I'm connected to 10 other. Now suddenly it's 20, right? So if that becomes 10 fund managers, now we're connected to 100 really good sponsors. Now do the due diligence together, because what one person cannot do, you can divide and conquer and do it together. And now we can get a bigger and better raise and a better economics, not just for fund managers, but for the investors too. And that's why, the connected capital has been coming together, and we have been, successfully doing the due diligence, getting this really high quality investors to each of our, funds, to our investors, because that's where we are serving ultimately, and in a process getting that better compensation for fund managers, and sometimes a little bit better compensation even for investors, instead of them going directly to that deal.
Very cool. Hey, since you guys are doing such good due diligence, how about a couple of nuggets for our investors, which they may not have heard from other places about
That
from a
is
due
that
diligence
is really
perspective?
really great question, because like I said, that 230-point checklist, there's a quite a bit in there, and we hear about this common themes about doing the due diligence a lot. But let me start by saying that your number one priority is the sponsor team, because the sponsor is like a jockey, right? If it is a good sponsor, they can take a really good deal and then make it like really really good, but the bad sponsor can take a good deal and can take it down the drain. So no matter what checklist you have, no what due diligence you're performing, you really start from the sponsors team, right? So one of the biggest thing that we consider at Connected Capital is running the background checks. I mean, it may sound, yeah, too simple that, yeah, run the background checks, but think about it that when you're looking at, this $1 billion portfolio of this, sponsors, which are really best in class, and you are coming in as a passive investor and you're asking that, can I run a background check on you? And first of all, they should say yes, but there is more often times that a no comes to you because they have this, bigger portfolios, they have this great experiences. Like, why do you want to run a background check on us, right? So that's really far, the first and most important aspect of it, to check what's in the history. If they have, some history about some, tendency about different things, right? So that I will say is most common, and I'm just gonna, probably give you two different things again. I think one of the things I look at is the legal, right? Of course, I'm not a lawyer here, not a CPA or a financial advisor, but we have seen a lot of mayhem in the last couple of years that there's capital calls. By the way, if there's capital calls, it's like if there's a distribution is stopped, that's one problem. Capital calls is the second problem, and losing the investment completely or partially, that has been the problem too. So if your distributions are stopped, that is the list of your problems, but people have lost capital as well. So if you're looking at syndication and going back in the next time, look for something which is called a clawback clause, right? What is a clawback? A clawback is essentially, if something like this to happen, then the syndication team, they have earned the acquisition fees and all the different asset management fees, etc. So there is a way that to claw back, because if the principal is being lost by the investors, the syndication team also has some responsibility, or should have some skin, right? So that can be clawed back, and some kind of person can come back to you. So that is one of the things I would say from the legal side of you. And yeah, I think the market perspective, I will always say that when you see these numbers, that okay, the numbers are coming up. Of course, underwriting is one of the big thing, but people are quite familiar with underwriting terms and what to look for. But in terms of markets, something that you may miss is look at the comps that they're providing, and look at what comps they're providing. Are they the surrounding comps? Are they going further out for those comps? Because you will look at it that okay, this is the rent, this is achievable. The next apartment is doing that, but think very very carefully, and if possible go on Google, or if possible, I mean, have somebody just walk that street there. Because what happens is that even if it's a 2 mile radius, and if there is like a rail track or a freeway, a bridge goes between, what's on the left side and what's on the right side, it's drastically different, right? You can see really high quality residential area on the left side, and you can start seeing the pawn shops and auto repair shops, and nothing wrong in it though, but that's the change that can, even with a 2 mile radius, can have a big impact on that investment. So hopefully those three.
Those are some really strong nuggets, Madhavi, especially around hey, the comps itself. Hey, never use the seller comps. Hey,
Yep,
there's nothing wrong with that,
yep.
but use your own comps. You drive the property, do some secret shopping. Amazing the nuggets there. Madhavi, also let's talk a little bit about on the fun side, right? Hey, let our investors know who the real Madhavi is. I'm assuming you like
Yeah, I
Bollywood, right?
love, absolutely, that's in our DNA, the cricket, and the Bollywood, the songs, it's in our DNA, right, Akash?
So what is your most favorite karaoke song, or like hey, something that you would be while making some food or whatever that
Oh
you'll be
wow, I
singing
love
along?
that. Let me think a bit here. So I'm kind of old school and new school in a way. I kind of like a variety of the music. But Lagja Gale is, oh my God, it's like the classical old classic to sing on a karaoke, right? So I love that, whether I can sing it or
And
not.
and and how does and
Oh
how does it go
my
and how does it
goodness.
go? I'm
No,
not
you
gonna
got
ask
me
you.
there, right? No, seriously, that's, whether I can sing it or not, but that's one of the favorite. But yeah, if you want two lines, I can try to sing. I'm not a great singer.
Absolutely, please, let's do
लग
that.
जा गले के फिर ये हंसी रात हो न हो शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात हो न हो. There you go. I don't think I have ever
All right, that's amazing. That's
I
the
have
first
never
on my
sang a song
podcast.
on a
That is
podcast too,
that
right?
that is
It's
amazing.
yeah.
That will be a hit. That will
But
be
you
a
know
hit.
what? I'm a kind of a person, Akash, that I just do things. I just take the step. I'm not a great singer, but you kind of probe me into it, and I don't think twice about it. And that kind of is a very peculiar personality because a
The
lot of people have imposter syndrome, thinking about like making it perfect, and there's a perfection in imperfection. So we have to embrace that. We need to be kind to ourselves, that it's okay to be imperfect as long as we are making constant consistent progress. And kudos to you with your constant consistent progress. You have launched something big right now. Tell me more about a little bit. I know it's your podcast.
Yeah, no. So one of the things that we recently launched was is an AI tool called Tenant Vibe. Tenant Vibe is there for property managers and property owners to enable their properties to perform better on the leasing side as well as maintenance side. Hey, as I think a lot of us have been hearing a lot of
Yeah.
stuff around AI, AI helping us all around. I believe property management is one place where we can do a lot more automation. And so that's my AI journey. I think we'll be posting a lot about Tenant Vibe, and we are going to be doing a couple of shows here very soon. But in fact, actually, hey, let me turn that around. I think you guys within Connected Capital, and not only Connected Capital outside, are seeing a lot more AI type tools. How are you using AI in your evaluation, in your due diligence, in your underwriting? Tell us a
I'll
little
tell
bit
you one
about
thing
that.
about AI, what I feel, Akash. First of all, congratulations on your Propco and combining that with AI. I believe that, that is a very, very important aspect you are bringing to the industry, and that's your contribution to the industry with that constant, consistent progress. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to do that. So that's the pain point you saw, and that's what you're solving, right? AI have a very different perspective. Like people think that, oh, AI is taking over jobs. AI is, just kind of wiping it. Like we are on a change which we haven't seen in a long time, right? But I think that, AI needs human, right? There is we are standing at an intersection of AI and human. If you just sit in front of AI, what is it going to do for you? You might ask about the property management. I might ask about due diligence. So you're going to get what you are going to feed into it, right? So with that, I feel the same thing about due diligence, because due diligence, we can simply say that, hey, let's just do due diligence with AI. But there are some nitty-gritty components of that human interaction, which I was just mentioning some time back, right? That if there is that, freeway going on the left-hand side, community is different, and the right-hand side community is different, right? So those kind of a thing that you need to meet at the intersection of an AI, a human needs to be participating. So we are doing, some things in connected capital where we are utilizing some portion of it for due diligence, but I'm more and more I'm seeing that you cannot just replace the human component of it. Can it make it easier? Maybe a little bit. Can it solve a problem? Maybe a little bit, but we are not there yet where the complete due diligence can be managed by AI.
No, you're absolutely right. And AI, even AI we have to have
Yeah.
responsible AI. Even when we are developing solutions in AI, or even when my team is doing stuff, or we are doing some marketing and whatnot, every AI has to be human supervised at this particular point in time. I don't think
Yeah.
we are advanced yet that it can be fully autonomous. Yes, some of the things can be done automatically. Coming from a consulting world, coming from a tech world, I'm a company engineer myself. There's a lot of stuff we can do technology wise, but hey, it has to be human supervised. Humans have to interact with it. Humans
Absolutely.
have to tell it what to do. All
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
has to be
And
done.
the area also you're utilizing, right? There's some area which are kind of risk prone. So you want to be more careful in adding that human interaction into it, right? So marketing versus a due diligence. Due diligence we have, as capital allocators, we have a responsibility towards our investors. We want to, make as much as possible. I mean, we cannot avoid the landmines, but if we can step on a little bit less landmines, that's our responsibility. So that's how I feel about it, and I'm still not completely comfortable about due diligence and AI. We'll see where the time goes.
That's phenomenal. That's a great perspective. Now, Madhvi, hey, this week Fed gave us, hey, a rope, if you may, hey, a life rope, right? They gave us a quarter of a point
Right,
cut in the
right.
interest rates. Hey, what is your take on it? Will it impact deal flow? Will it impact the bid ask spread? Do you think a lot more deals are going to have? What is your take on this whole 25
Love
point
that. First
basis
of all,
points
this
cut?
is the second time they cut, right? The last one was what, December 2024? Yeah, and so
December
they
24,
took
yes.
quite a bit actually, right? From that to when they started, taking it up, that they just went like a rampant, right? So we have been trying to see how they're going to do this and when they're going to do that, and we have been looking for this evening for quite a bit time, right? So just simply said, right, that there is so much of not just the multifamily market, but commercial real estate, and also, even the home buying. People are not buying homes because of this interest rate. So we needed this easing. That's really really important. But in terms of the commercial real estate, right, the rates, the cap rate keep on going up, right? So when the this interest rates start going down, then we start seeing the compression of the rates too. And what it means is in any of the commercial real estate is increasing the prices of our investments, right? And increasing the price and getting that NOI up, getting that forced appreciation, along with the cap rate from the market, it just gets that little bit of a push, right? So hopefully with this, the rate cuts, what we are looking for, we see some easing so that we can start seeing, the multifamily market or, you know, just commercial real estate market starts coming up, because we need that. It has been such a mayhem and such a blood on the streets that we have seen in last couple of years. So hopefully we'll start seeing some sliver of hope in there.
Let's hope so. And I believe, hey, they also indicated that there might be a couple more cuts before the end of the year here. So let's keep our fingers
Yeah,
crossed. Let's
yeah.
see how this multifamily market recovers. Hey, with that, I also know that you travel a lot as well. Any new trips
Well, we
coming up
just went
soon?
back to London, and the reason I'm saying back is we started our journey. That was our first outside India kind of a settlement that me and my husband had, right? So we stayed there for a year before we landed here in United States. So we actually went back, and we went back to our roots. Like I think it was like a 320 square feet uh, studio come apartment. We went and we saw that. So that was quite interesting to take our kids there and show our humble stars. So
Very
that's
cool.
London was, one of the things that we just recently did. But yeah, I mean, going back to India is always on the list of things to do. But we might go to Alaska. I think Alaska will be the next destination that we will be
Very
interested in.
cool. Very, very cool. No, hey, hey, travel is one of those things that, with financial freedom that comes through with multifamily and some of the other asset classes that we have invested in, that enables us to do is a lot of traveling, right? So, kudos to you and for taking your family back to where you started
Absolutely.
from in London. Madhi, before we end the segment here, one of the things I also wanted to ask you was about, hey, I want to let the people know that, hey, you're your
Yep.
own bank. And, hey, tell us a little bit about your infinite banking story as well, so that, again, if anybody is interested, they can reach out to you and talk about it.
I don't know if you know about it, but the real estate, I was very, very excited about it. But infinite banking, I was super duper skeptical about it. And, to a point of analysis paralysis. I came back, and when that happens, I'm a very numbers person. I'm a math measure. So I came back and looked at, created this massive spreadsheets and examples and scenarios, if this, then, right? And I got kind of convinced myself, and that's what infinite banking is. I look at it as a multifold strategy. And I quite often say to my, clients, investors, when they come to me and they ask that, hey, Madhvi, what's your next investment coming in? What's the returns? And can I create a passive income and financial freedom built from there, right? So I always ask them that, step back from where you are, because we need to start asking the right questions. Otherwise, our answers are not going to be the right ones, right? So I, ask them that you asking me this question is about you being in a frog in a pond, and you see that around you there is, this water, stones and leaves, and that's your problems, and there your solutions are there too. But if you step back a little bit from eagle's eye perspective, now suddenly you can see the entire forest and maybe further up from there. And now you can see different problems, but you can also see different solutions. So for me, infinite banking kind of sits into that place where it's not just about passive income and financial freedom, but it's about growing, preserving, protecting, and passing your generational wealth. And Akash, I know you are as passionate as I am about the next gen. That's a show, show that you have created. But that generational wealth creation, when we have started working so hard, we just can't say that, oh, I have enough that I'm passing to my kids. I don't want to pass it anymore. These things are gonna get passed, so we can put some tools and techniques around it, and infinite banking is one of that tool which can help you grow, preserve, protect, and pass your generational wealth. So it has many benefits. First of all, it's a saving strategy. So don't ignore creating the foundation of your financial structure, because the foundation should be rock solid, like concrete, like house, that even house burns down, the foundation stays. So infinite banking, if done correctly, is that solid foundation that will never ever go away. And then you can start building a pyramid based on your risk tolerance from top of that. And what I like about it is that, first of all, you can contribute to it without any limit. You can create your own limit, actually. It grows tax free, and you can leverage from it and take out tax free as well. And it passes to next generation income tax free. And while it's doing this, it provides asset protection automatically in most of the states. And this money is kind of stays secured. And as a real estate investors, the key things that I like about it, that you can treat that as an and asset. And let me explain that to you. An and asset means something that you can do and, not or, right? For example, if you have 100K savings into your savings account and you have an investment, you take 100K out, put it into, say, into that investment, your savings becomes zero. But in this case, you can actually leverage from it, just like home equity. Your compounding growth tax free that continues inside that banking system. You can leverage from it and invest into the real estate syndications or whatever you want to invest at a small cost of a simple interest payment. And both this can snowball as you go on, progressing. So the simple theme, if I may say it, is that you want to have uninterrupted compounding to your cash and your death benefit till the day you die. And that can be simply done with the infinite banking system.
That is phenomenal, Madhvi, and I can see that you have taken the lessons that Rockefellers taught us to
Hmm.
heart. All
Yep.
right,
Yep.
hey, how do you do credit protection? How do you do, use insurance to create generational wealth? How do you invest in multifamily to create generational wealth? Kudos to you for having learned all those lessons from the Rockefellers and from a lot of the great American entrepreneurs and capitalists. And kudos to you on your journey to create generational wealth here.
Thank you so much, Akash. And the admiration and the inspiration is mutual here. You have created tremendous amount of, wealth and tools and techniques for your family, and you're passing it on to your kids. You're passing out to your friends, family, and much more beyond that. So I really admire that about you. And one thing I would say, I know we're kind of coming towards the end. The one thing I would say that think about what investments or strategies or wealth management strategies that you have known and you have created. Ask yourself a question: how much of that is known to your spouse? Ask yourself another question: that how much of that is known to your kids now? So it's really your responsibility as you are creating this massive snowball of wealth in terms of dollars. It's just not the dollars that we're going to pass to the next generation, but it's about the house and the lessons learned and the failures and the successes and the tools, just like Rockefellers have built. Whenever there is a new baby born, they implement this infinite banking strategy. So the systematic plan for your next generations to come, not just your kid, but generations to come, that is what is going to sustain this wealth, just like Rockefellers and some of the other families have decided to do, is not just to pass on the wealth, but the systems with it. So as much as you focus on the wealth, focus on the systems as well.
Very, very well said. Folks, there you have it. There you have it from Madhavi Jain, the founder of Connected Capital. She does infinite banking as well as is a very astute investor in the multifamily and other asset classes. Thank you, Madhavi. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you
It
so
was
much,
pleasure.
Akash. Thank you so much. And Akash, if anybody wants to connect with me, Think Outside the Stocks is a handle everywhere. I also have a podcast just like you, Think Outside the Stocks. They can always go on the website and connect with me too. And thank you so much for inviting me to be guest on your show as well. It's such a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Signing off. Thanks. Bye.